Hello and welcome to another episode of the Aesthetic Lifestyle Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be exposing some of the fitness industry bullshit that's keeping you stuck. So if you've ever felt like you're way more confused than you should be, you're way more stuck than you should be when it comes to your fitness journey, because there's so many conflicting things that you see on social media, we're going to clarify some of that on here for you. Now, the truth is, the fitness industry thrives on confusion and overwhelm, because you'll see people that put out something that's this side of the spectrum and this side of the spectrum. And they love that because then they create a bit of a cult following in terms of, right, yeah, no carbs, or we have to do high volume training, we have to do CrossFit, we have to do this. And the reality is, a lot of the time, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Now, what really grinds my gears is you will see, don't do this, do this. My way is the only way to do it. And what a load of fucking bollocks that is, right? Anybody that is talking in absolutes is a moron. There are underlying principles that you need to apply as you go throughout your journey, depending on the goal that you have. If you want to lose fat, you have to be in a deficit. If you want to build muscle, you need to get stronger. You need to progressively overload. These are complete and utter facts, but saying to someone, don't do this exercise, do this one, is absolute bollocks, unless it's some shit like dumbbell tricep kickbacks or some crap like that. But there's no one magical solution. So by the end of this episode, you're going to be able to filter through the noise and see the bollocks to the truth, and be able to make your own decisions for what's actually going on and be the leader of your own journey. So like I said, the fitness industry wants to keep you stuck with conflicting, overwhelming advice saying, oh, you need to do intermittent fasting. No, you need to eat 6 meals a day. And it's just overcomplicating a very simple on paper process. Simple on paper because it's harder to execute on a consistent basis. What a lot of these marketing tactics are down to as well is fear-based marketing, making you feel like you're missing out on this one magical golden nugget that's the real solution to all of your problems. And the fix to this is simplifying it and understanding, like I said earlier, the core principles that we have to apply to get the results that we want. Everything beyond these core principles is just methods, preference, and different ways to implement to get to the same principle. When it comes to, say, a calorie deficit, I couldn't give a fuck if you eat your first meal at 8 a.m. or 11 a.m. It makes no difference if at the end of the day you've ate the same amount of calories and it works for you. It's the same shit. So back to the speaking in absolutes, the don't do this, do that crew. What these people want you to believe is it's their way or not at all. Oh, don't deadlift, do bent over rows instead. Right, if you want to fucking deadlift, you can deadlift. That's absolutely fine. Don't eat this particular food, eat this particular food. Well, if you're still in a deficit and you're meeting your nutritional needs from a quality perspective, calorie, protein as well, etc., then that's also fine. What you need is the calorie target to hit your specific goals, your macro target to hit your goals, progressive overload, and an approach that you can be truly and utterly consistent with. So the core fundamentals that are never going to change that you need to be looking at and considering. Your calorie target dictates weight gain or weight loss. Getting in a sufficient amount of protein so that you can build and retain muscle, that you can recover from your training sessions. Progressive overload, so you can build muscle, retain muscle, and get stronger. Well, obviously you get stronger with progressive overload. And maintaining high levels of consistency. And then when we look at the methods to hit these same targets, if we look at the calorie side of things, you could do intermittent fasting. You can do that. You could do keto if you really wanted to. I wouldn't, but you can if you really want to. You can have 3 meals a day. You can have 4, 5, 6, whatever tickles your pickle. It's absolutely fine. But what we have to consider is consistency. machines or free weights when it comes to progressive overload, getting stronger, building muscle. They do the same fucking thing, okay? We might have a preference. Like personally, I use a lot of machines because I've got some injuries, so the stability, the fixed pattern of the machine is great, but I also still use free weights. If you do a chest press, you press. You also press on a machine with a dumbbell, Smith machine, barbell, whatever it is. It all fucking works. As long as you are progressively overloading, lifting with good form, getting stronger, it's all the same thing. We might just have, like I said, different preferences and things that suit us better to apply that same principle. You'll also see people going on about the fucking split that you do in the gym. The split that you do in the gym doesn't overly matter compared to the amount of work that you're doing, that you're getting stronger on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week basis, and that you have a total amount of work that you're doing on a week-to-week basis. If you split that up and do something that you might see as a little bit weird, but it ticks all the other boxes, fucking sound. That's absolutely fine. As long as you're hitting each muscle group sort of 2-3 times per week as well, and you're recovering between those, great. So the key takeaway from that is follow principles and apply the methods that align with you, that you enjoy, and that you can be consistent with. So breaking down some more fitness bullshit is that if it fits your macros, crew. Now this grinds my gears because again, the truth is somewhere in between, right? You can't just go, right, it fits my macros and it be pure shit, pure McDonald's, KFC, whatever it is, even if it does hit your protein target and your calorie target. By all means, have that within there, within your diet, that's absolutely fine. But if it makes up the majority of your food intake or it's all the time, no, you can't be having that. People will tell you or sell you the dream and say you can eat whatever you want and get the results that you want. If you eat like a dickhead, but it still hits your calories, your protein, etc., your health will be shit, your performance will be shit, your recovery will not be good. So you do need to eat good quality food. You absolutely can't avoid that. You've got to eat fruit and veg. Don't be a child. But you can still consume these foods at the same time. That is also fine. And you have to train a certain amount of days per week. You have to train 5 days per week. This is something a lot of guys get really wrapped up in. They think, oh, I can't train 5 days per week. I can't commit to that. I've got a busy work schedule. I've got a hectic family life. I've got to look after the kids. You don't need to train 5 days a week. If you could get in there 3 days a week consistently, you'd get freaking awesome results as long as you're progressively overloading on a week-to-week basis. Right, where you're going to get the best results through resistance training is by being consistent. And if you have 5 sessions per week, 1 week, then 4 the next and 3 the next, you're not going to get very good results compared to if you just have 3 well-structured training sessions that you progress every single week. There's also that certain exercises are a must do. Like you must deadlift, you must squat, you must bench press. Why? You can do them and there's no issue with doing them. You know, that's not a problem. If those exercises suit you, you enjoy them, fucking crack on. But you can also do a hack squat, a dumbbell or a machine press and an RDL. But you can also do the originals at the same time. As long as it hits what you want to hit, you progress those, fucking sound. Carbs making you fat as well. Fuck off, right? Who wants to live a life completely without carbohydrates? Carbs are awesome for more than taste, right? Your carbohydrates will fuel your training performance. What does your training performance do? Dictate the muscle that you build, the muscle that you retain. So as you're going throughout a diet, losing body fat, we want to maintain and improve performance. If we're letting performance completely drop off, we are going to be losing muscle progressively. So we're going to be regressing and losing hard work that we've done. So it completely defeats the point. People get obsessed with cutting carbs because when they cut carbs, what happens is they will lose a lot of water weight initially because 1 gram of carb requires about 3 to 4 grams of water to be absorbed into the muscle. So when you don't consume carbs, you flush that out initially. That's it. That is literally fucking it. But you can also just eat in a deficit and still eat carbohydrates and maintain really fucking good training levels and physically look better at the end of that diet across the same duration, because you'll have eaten the same amount of calories. And the last one that I'm going to go on here as well is that you need to be sweating your bollocks off to drop any body fat. I've seen so many people dressing up like a gimp, like wrapping up in bin bags, sweating their bollocks off, thinking they're burning more fat. No, they're not. What we use training for is to build, retain muscle. That is what we should be doing, getting stronger to look better. And then we can utilize cardio and our movement as a means to improve our overall health and burn some additional calories as well. So how can you identify the bollocks and filter through all the noise? Well, you can just ask yourself straight up, right, is this a principle or is this a method? And if it's a principle, yeah, you need to do it, depending on what it is. Right? I'm sure some cunt will make something up that you need to do that they're saying is a principle and you won't lose fat without it, like the fucking apple cider vinegar bullshit, right? Or is it a method? Principle or method? And another thing to just really question yourself on is, does this actually matter for me hitting my goals? The second step of this is just avoid coaches that speak in absolutes. You must do this. Don't do this, do this. Again, if it's to do with principles, like the calorie side of things, progressive overload, yes, you must do that. But if they're saying you must not barbell bench press, you must do a dumbbell bench press, put them in the bin. And step 3 of this is find what works for you as an individual, right? Fuck off, am I doing keto? You might really like it. Bit weird, but you might, right? You might never want to have carbs again. Cool. And if that works for you and that gets you to your end goal and you're happy and content doing that, sound. However many days it is for you to consistently train. If it's 3, if it's 4, sound. Crack on, do that. Now, I've been caught up in the noise, like you guys listening, thinking that certain things had to be done, right? I used to go in the gym and do a different workout every single session because I was like, oh, I need to shock the body. What the fuck does that even mean, right? All you're doing, shocking the body, is lifting additional rep. Your body doesn't go, fucking hell, it's a barbell this time, it's not a dumbbell. It goes, that's a press. And I've not done this before. I need to add more muscle tissue to cope with this stress that I'm under. That's it. I've been trying different types of diets. I tried to pull the carbs thinking, fuck, I'm not, I've not got chiseled abs all the time because I'm eating carbohydrates. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. I also at one point thought, I need to do fasted cardio, not fed cardio, because I'm going to burn more fat like that. No, again, these things, all methods, they're not principles. And once I finally came to those realizations that, you know what, I don't actually need to do these things. I can do it however I want to do it, as long as I'm meeting the core principles that have to be done. I started getting way better results because I wasn't doing shit that made me fucking miserable, like going down to the gym at 6 a.m. to do fasted cardio when it was fucking freezing outside, or to cut out carbohydrates, foods that I actually enjoyed, right? Because that was affecting my consistency, which we will talk about over and over and over again. So here's what I want you to do. If you see an absolute, question it. What? Why? Tell me why I need to do this. Why do I need to do this and not this? Focus on principles all the time. Sticking to the core principles that must be done. And find the methods that suit you, your preferences, and your lifestyle. I hope you found this episode useful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe for more. Peace.